talk about whatever you want, the fights and
Here
in
we
general.
are. We're recording, and we're just starting with our regular, casual, real life, behind the scenes type podcast. I'm not getting all hypey like a hype man, but it's the Javier Mendez podcast. And
We're changing
we're
the name, you guys. If you guys can figure out a better name than Javier Mendez podcast, that'd be great. Like just so and so by Javier Mendez. That'd be cool.
Yeah, go ahead and
Come up
send it
with good
in.
ideas because I'm tired of hearing Javier Mendez.
Well, you're a humble guy. It doesn't suit you. I just did it because it's search engine. But if you fans have a better idea, we might work with that. You might get to be the one to name the show. There's no
Yes.
ego. There's no ego here. We just want to make a
No,
great show. We're like, if
we're
Jeremy
going to
helps us make
trademark
it
the
better,
name though. We got to trademark the name. We got to trademark. We
you
got to
kind of
make
have to
sure.
give it away. You got to give it away,
Got to give it away.
but you will get props. You will get props though.
Yeah, you get props.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. You have the only reason I think I looked at AK. There might be other people using it in terms of guns or some other show. I don't know. That's probably why I didn't do
Yeah,
it.
there's a whole bunch. There's AKA insurance. There's AKA dogs. There's and I only have my AKA is referred to promotions and martial arts. Sports, martial arts sports. So that's what mine is in reference to, like those things, and not AKA clothing, not because there's also a university called AKA.
That's wild. There's like so many
Woman,
variations,
it's a woman sorority, AKA.
right? Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out, and you guys can put it in the comments. We're curious to see what you say. If it's crazy, I don't know how far it's going to go, but we'll laugh. At least that much will
Well,
happen.
producer Jeremy, my son, will pick it. Say, Dad, this is a good one, or no, it's not.
We didn't get a hold of Jeremy yet. This is because this is an important announcement to talk about what's
So
going on with Habib.
they can also say, hey, you guys dropped the ball. The last one was better than this one because you guys had producers. Now you don't have producers, so now you guys are talking about off-angle things that we're not even interested in. So that definitely is a potential thought. So let's just go with the fights.
Right. Let's go with the fights. Let's go with the big thing coming towards the end of our conversation is about Habib, which I'm just letting you guys know. So watch the whole podcast anyways, and we'll keep it interesting and as best as we can on point here. You have you were the fights last night. We were talking about the other day on the podcast about Max Holloway not sparring, and man, did he show up. He showed up. I watched that fight. That was tremendous, man. I think he was trying to keep from getting lots of hits to the head and showing up with a clearer mind. Do you think that's what that's about, like lowering CTE, or what's your thoughts?
The thing is that he's seasoned. He's a seasoned fighter, so I think he can get away with not sparring hard at all. Period. I think he can get away with it, but I think it's the more unexperienced people that I don't think they can do it as well. And I'm on the fence on that one. I mean, I see the points, I see the valid, and then I see the invalid. So I guess it's to each their own, right? I mean, with my guys, I said at least one time a week. And I would say for those of you guys that are very inexperienced, the more sparring, the better you're going to get. But when you're a Max Holloway, it's like, hey, you don't want to do any sparring. It's good. I'm fine with that. I don't care. I don't care as long as they're in shape and because, and they're healthy. And number one thing is mental strength, and physical strength. I'm sorry. So they got to be healthy. So if they have both of those and they're in shape, they have the experience. I mean, the Thai boxing, they don't go all out. Because they spar so much. So there's something to that too, right? They don't go all out. Thai boxers do not.
Like what, 50%? Go through the motions, go through the reactions, and without the full impact, right?
Shit, maybe they don't even go 50%. I don't know.
Right.
They do a lot of pad work. They do a lot of drills, and they fight. And the reason why they don't, fight each other in sparring because they bruise each other up. So there's something to that. Where you got to find a happy medium, I don't know yet. Is Max Holloway the right way? I don't know, but I'll tell you what. If my team, I have my beginner guys and my more advanced guys, they're sparring a team that doesn't do any contact, I'd be really comfortable going in against them. Right. I really would. So would we win? I would think so, but I could be wrong.
Well, what's been working? It's kind of like, let's try that. But this has been working. not that you're so hard set, you're open to it. That's really, it shows that you're always watching the evolution of the sport and keeping an open mind.
Well,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I'm not old school. I mean, as you got to understand, things do change. Things evolve all the time, But back in the boxing gym, and just boxing, I'm using boxing in general. When you just hit bags and you spar on the focus mitts. I'm sorry, you don't spar, but you just do focus mitted bags and shadow boxing. And these guys, all of a sudden, after so much of that, they get into sparring. They're a wreck. They're no good at all. No
Right.
good at all. So for me, equates to, well, you didn't do any sparring. Now you're going up with someone that's actually sparring. And I've seen guys that have been training for like 5-6 years, never hardly ever sparred. A guy comes in, he's 6 months into the thing, and he's doing a lot of sparring. He spars that guy that's been doing it for that length of time, and the guy that's 6 months in kicks his butt.
Right.
So, but again, Max Holloway doesn't fit that criteria. He
Right.
is experienced. He's evolved. He's a different level.
He's got the
So
muscle memory. He's already
got,
done it. So much,
yeah,
so much sparring, right? And
yeah.
that, right. It's like you're looking at people talking about sparring, and if you haven't done it, you probably need to do it, because otherwise you're going to be shocked. But if you've done it, then you have the muscle memory. And Max has had so many fights that he's at a
And
different level.
and that guy's got confidence. Win
Right.
or lose, that guy's a man. I really admire him. He is incredible. I really like him. And I picked him only because I really liked him, not because I thought that they asked me who I thought was going to win, and I said, well, I said I like Max, so I'm just going to go with Max, because I go with the people I like, not who I think's going to win. I'll go with Max. And Habib and I did the same thing. We said we think the other guy's going to win, but we hope not. We wanted Max to win, because that's who we wanted to win, Max, and obviously Max won. So I was happy. Because I don't know the other guy. If I knew him, maybe I'd have a tough time, because when I know people, I always root for the people I know, and I don't really root for the people that I think is going to win. I root for the people I know. That's just the way I've always been.
Right. Right. I see that. And I think that, it's, how can I put this? He went in there, he just cleaned house. I looked at his game plan. It reminded me of the Habib and Gaethje game plan. He was all pressure, all pressure, all pressure. And this guy had big hammers he wanted to unload, just like Justin. The big kick to the leg, the big overhand, or the big hook. And this guy couldn't get off because he was there, pressure, 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 pressure. It's not a Habib game, but the common thing was the pressure.
Yeah.
It's a different fighting style. But
Right.
It was interesting to see that implemented. And this other guy, like, if he'd get off one of them hammers, he could have done damage, but he was always guessing, because he's always getting hit. And then he'd get a couple off, and he'd get, for every 2, he'd get 5 or 10 back. And that's kind of how that fight went. And so then there was other things that happened. People that were, how can I put this? There's a couple of, there was Di Chirico. He fought Buckley. Yeah. And Buckley, he's a hard hitter, but Di Chirico, kickboxer, stayed back, had the height on him, and then just took him out with a kick, set him up for the kick.
He made an interesting comment. He said he didn't interview with the reporters because he was standing his stance on why you guys only, why do you only
interview the winner? Interview the winner.
He has a point. He has a point. It's like, hey, man, but the bottom line is the reporters have a point too, because like, if they start that trend, the eyeballs that are reading become less. So clickbait, right? Clickbait. We do it. We do it. We do clickbait too. I mean, if we don't admit it, then we're lying. We do clickbait. We feel, okay, what's the title? We'll get people to read this, that. We don't go, if you go flatline, I mean, we've done flatline, and look what happened. You go, what?
What happened?
Here? What the hell?
Well, the thing is, like,
not interesting. Clickbait. I'm sorry.
That's we got to be interesting. I have some good topics today. I think that the whole card was great for ABC. They debuted on ABC, which supposedly was like, I think Muhammad Ali fought on ABC years ago, Wild World of Sports or something like that. So it kind of had a special meaning. Just like when they first fought in Madison Square Garden, that was kind of like more, validation for the UFC, right? So you've been on there. How's the energy been sitting on the island? Other fighters on that card. You're waiting for a card on Wednesday. What's it been like hanging out there?
I've been mostly in my room. I go in to eat, and I don't really hang out there. You know, I've been in Umar's room, and we have our own training room here, really small. I done filming there and stuff, and with training with Habib, training Habib. So, you know, I guess let's see what happens, right? Habib's training,
He's
so
training, so we don't know the verdict. I mean, let's.
we don't know the verdict because basically his thing is coach. We'll see, but I'm just preparing. He's training. You know,
Well,
we're working.
what Dana said was he wants to see somebody show him something that excites him, that makes him want to come back in. Like he sees a performance, like, a real amazing performance, says, you know what, that looks challenging. Now, if that fight were to happen, then I'd be excited, right?
Sure. That's the first step. Okay. That's the first step. Okay. He's got to find the challenge. Now you got to have the big step. Mother's plan.
Right. Right.
He's got to get approved through mom. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. He could say, I'm going to do it. Mom says, no, you promised me.
Yeah. That's the culture.
He's going to stick to mother's plan. So you got father's plan, which is 30 and no. You got mother's plan, which is no, 29 and no. You know, if mother changes her mind, I mean, that's between him and her. You know, I it's not in my business. You know, all I'm here is he wants me to coach him, I'll coach him. He wants me to coach him for fighting, I'll coach him. He wants me to coach him just to coach him, I'll coach him. No problem. I'm with him no matter what. No matter what he does, I'm with him. So we're here, him and I, to help Umar for his fight. You know, with his brother, Umar's brother, Usman. You know, and that's it. You know, we're a team, and we're sticking together. And whatever Habib does, we're on board. You know, and right now we can't say nothing because Dana said it all. So now we just gotta wait and see. So obviously, GSP's out of the question. You know, Dana said that. So who knows? I mean, at this stage of the game, let's be honest. I didn't know he was going to retire. That just happened.
Right.
So who knows? All of a sudden, before you know it, he's fighting Charles Oliveira.
Right. Right.
Okay, I thought he was going to fight Dustin. I thought he was going to fight. I thought he was going to fight Michael. I thought he was going to fight. I don't know.
He likes a challenge, though. He likes a challenge. He wants to see which one of those guys, and not in a cocky way, in a teasing way. You know how?
No. He's not. No? He's not cocky. No, he just wants something to challenge him. He's not. That's anything. He's not. Is cocky. Confident? Hell yeah, he's confident. Right. Cocky? No.
Never would be.
Showboat?
No, the most humble guy.
Listen. I went into his room today. Okay, and he has the big bed, and then in the big bed, guess who's sleeping in the little cot, the ones they bring in the rollaway. Guess who's sleeping in that bed? Habib. Yeah. Guess who's sleeping in the big giant bed? Shamil.
Shamil?
Yep.
Because Shamil is the older and the elder, and it's not about I'm the world champion. It's the tradition. It's the culture, right?
Tradition.
And he's humble, and that's part of it. You got to respect your elders. So if you are the elder, it doesn't matter if I'm the world champion. I have to defer to you, right?
In this case, it's because Shamil is the elder. That's true, 100%. But I've been there in cases where he's not there. Habib is the elder, and guess where he's still at?
Right.
The rollaway.
And that's the thing that speaks to his character. I think that, I was talking to somebody about this. There's that old saying, like, it's hard to be a champion waking up in silk sheets in a big Ponderosa home with a bunch of Ferraris, and, you've been out just going around eating, partying, and not focusing on your training, than to be humble and stick to what it stays to be a fighter, no matter how much success you have. I mean, just to make a funny analogy, it was like Rocky 2. They're like, hey, you've been playing this rich boy. You need to come back to the hard gym. And his mindset, he seems to want to stay humble, and so he can stay in fighter mode. That's what it seems to me.
No, that's just who he is as a person. If you hit it on the money as far as how to stay on top of the game, and how you stay on top of the game is to humble yourself. You can have the riches, you can drive the Ferraris, you can live in the lavish home, but you still got to stick to the basic principles that got you there. You don't have to live in poverty. You don't have to, you can live luxury and still be the greatest fighter of all time. No problem. But that's his mindset. His mindset is not, he's not doing this to make himself hungry. He's doing it because that's just who he is. He doesn't need. He's not this kind of guy that needs all these luxuries. He's a helper. He helps a lot of these guys. You know, a lot of these guys he's hired. He gets a promotion. Let's say a sponsor. I'm sorry, not promotion. He gets a sponsorship to pay him. Okay, yes, I'll go with you, but you got to get my guys too.
Right.
Otherwise, you don't do it. I mean, and that's what he's always done. He takes care of so many people, and so. But again, like I said, he's not doing it to be hungry for the fight. He's doing it because that's who he is. There's a big difference. So let me tell you,
he's not going to change. He's not corruptible. That is his greatest strength, man.
No,
no, beautiful thing about him.
No, corruptible is like if he lived in luxury in the satin sheets, it ain't going to change his workout, is what I'm saying.
Right.
It ain't going to change. So he can drive the Ferraris. He can do all that. It doesn't matter. His mindset is still train. That's what I'm saying. So he's not doing this to suffer. That's just what he is. Okay. And that's what I'm saying. So, you know, there's a lot of people out there that do fantastic and they're rich and they drive the luxury. Floyd Mayweather. Right. Give me a break. Are you going to tell me that guy's not dedicated? He's damn dedicated and he's damn good at it. Why? But he's not focused. Baloney. He's focused. Right. So that's what I'm saying. So that's a perfect example. Floyd Mayweather, the best boxer probably that's ever done it. And he's enriched his lives, big giant homes, he's doing all kinds of fancy stuff. Habib, more low key, you know, way more low key. You know? But again, the mindset of both of those guys is still champion mindset.
Right. Well, I understand that Floyd never stops his workout and works out every day like he's ready for a fight his whole life.
But he's partying all the time. As far as when you look at him, he's out partying. He's out big giant Rolexes. I mean, he's got one of those real super expensive Jacob watches. One of those Jacob watches, I think it's $10 million. I think. Wow. I think it's $10 million. He got. Is it 10 million? He's got like it's the like diamond and everything. Jacob's watch. Floyd Mayweather. Look it up. You know, he's got the most expensive watch, one of the most expensive watches in the world. I believe it's 10 million. You know, hell, I was at Jacob's watch in Dubai and they put the $1 million one on me and I was just not comfortable having it on me. I was like, I don't want this thing on me.
That's so crazy. I mean, we don't, in our lives, we're pretty laid back guys. We're not like, oh, I need the newest Rolex ever. That's not our thing. So it's funny to have something that valuable because you didn't focus on putting like, hey, Hab, that's $1 million. We just put it around your wrist. Imagine how you'd feel walking around with that. I'd feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it's so, I mean, Habib's training, that's all we can tell you is he's working out right now. That's all we can tell you, right?
No, what you can tell him, no, this is what you can tell him. He's always trained, trained, okay? But he's never trained with me. You understand? Mm-hmm. He's been training, but he's never trained with me. Only when he fights, he trains with me. That I can tell you.
Right.
Whether he fights or not, I don't know. But he's training with me. So you can take that for what it's worth.
Right. And that's all it is. And that is a totally non-disclaimer, neither confirm or deny type statement. But you can read into that and maybe get hopeful. That's up to you.
You can read into it. You can read into it, get helpful. But I don't know. I know he's training with me. I know that. You know, we have video. You know,
we have the push-ups. He's training with push-ups for sure. I put that video up.
Let's put the push-ups. I put that sucker up, and almost one day, I think it's probably a day now. It got. Tell you what it is.
It's way up there on Instagram, like over 200,000.
It's great, and just on mine. Can you imagine? It's like that's just nuts, man. That's how popular people love this guy.
Right.
In one day, 268,000 views.
Wow.
Total people that have seen it, 408,000 people have seen it. 441,000 have seen it.
Amazing.
441,000 have seen it, bro.
People love the guy.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
It's amazing. Where Instagram imitates a major television.
It's just for push-ups. Push-ups. and you know, the other one that's crazy is I did the one of him and his father I did this one before and he wanted me to repost that. And I had a hard time before because every time I think about his father, I almost cry, you know? So
I understand.
I get teary-eyed. So I'm doing better. So for a while there, I wasn't posting anything about his father. And then recently I just started posting some stuff. And now I can do better. But before I had a tough time. But anyways, I just posted that one in 14 hours. It's got over 300 something thousand views. It's probably, let's see, insights. Let's see what this one's got. 543,557.
Amazing. Well, that's you have the real connection. You share the story. People get to see a little bit behind the scenes. It's a really beautiful time when people can see this stuff, not wait for every 6 months to see a 10-minute bang up preview. And, the fans love it. He inspires people. So that's nice to have that.
The beautiful thing about Habib when he's training is the love he has for the people around him, the love he has for me, how he's always saying, Coach, look this, what do you think? And I'm like, that's pretty good, and he's just got a beautiful soul, man. It's so much goes into what he is as a person and how dedicated he is to his people and loyalty. When I talk loyalty, I'm not talking loyalty to everybody. I'm loyal to him.
Yeah.
He's shown loyalty to me. I'm loyal to him. I may be a loyal person, but my loyalty when I do texts or Instagram, this and that, my loyalty is to him because his loyalty has always been to me. So
yeah, and that makes sense. We've been around the block. It's hard to find people like that, and if you find one, you're lucky. That's in a lifetime.
You can love people, you can respect people, you can always like people, but the loyalty part, sometimes people mistake loyalty as like, oh, he does that for everybody. No.
Well, how is it hanging out with him there? You guys having lunch and dinner and just hang with Umar, keeping his spirits up for his fight coming up? Is that what's going on?
I don't hang out. You only go there and train them. They're doing their own thing. When you go in Habib's room, I go, man, I don't have no food in my room. Mm-hmm. I had food room. What's that? Fit row.
Yeah, Fit row.
Yeah, I had fit row.
I had protein bars. The Habib.
Man, they're the bomb. They are good, bro. They are really, really good. And so I asked Kamel if he can give me a box because, I get munchies and then I want to eat. And then Habib, you go in his room, he's got all kinds of stuff. And he goes, Coach, it's all yours. I go, take it. I think I'm going to go in his room in there and get some. He's got a whole bunch of dates. I'll go, hey, I'm going to take you up on your offer. I'm taking some. Oh, goes, okay, Coach. He'll let me have it. But I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to get some dates. I've just gotten a kind of a taste for dates, the sweetness and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's funny. You're going trick-or-treating in Habib's room. That's what something said nobody else in the world ever except Coach Javier.
knock, knock. Who's there? Coach. Coach, yes. Coach want dates.
That's pretty awesome. Just this little segment alone, people getting to hear about the connection. This is real, the ultimate behind the scenes. It's just real life. There's no flash. There's no we're trying to pump it up. But I think anybody looking for information about the fight will probably learn more from watching this than a lot of stuff that's out there. They can read into anything. But I'm excited to hear that he's training.
They can read anything, but the bottom line is we're training. And he's, he always trains though. But the key thing, he never trains with me.
Right.
That's the key thing. So, but that doesn't mean he's fighting. That just means he's preparing for potential. He's definitely he's got his feet in the water. He hasn't dived in though. His feet are in the water. He hasn't dived in. I know this. He's training with me because I'm training him. I know that. And he says, Coach, this time we have more time to work because I'm not in fight mode yet.
Mm.
So what does that mean? What does that mean?
Interesting question mark. Percentages are going up in the favor of, it's up to you guys.
Well, maybe Hooker, Michael Chandler impressed him so much that he goes, okay, Dana, give me a boatload of money. I'm fighting one of those guys. Or maybe Connor and maybe Dustin and Connor. I don't know. If that happens, I hope it's Dustin, and the boatload of money that one. And then maybe Charles Oliveira. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. But whoever impresses him, that's who Dana is going to put. If no one impresses him, well, obviously we're looking at GSP. I thought, and this tells you how much I know, that the only fighter that he'd really be interested is GSP. Well, apparently that's out of the water. So GSP is also talking about, well, that kind of ship sailed and went past a little bit. He'd be interested, but He has to consider his age. He has to consider the weight. GSP is very, very, very smart. Very, very smart. He knows exactly what his body can do and what his body can't do, and he won't take it. No, GSP will not take a fight for the money either. He will not. The challenge is what he'll take the fight for, but it has to be on his
terms, right?
The other one that does really good with that is John Jones. John Jones is fantastic at that. John Jones could have fought light heavyweight and beat up just about every heavyweight, if not all of them.
Right.
He could have. But
right.
No, what does he do? He packs on 20 pounds of muscle, and now he's coming like just a King Kong, and that's what guys like that, that mentality, that's what they'll do. They're not going to, they don't want to lose. So they'll do everything they can to make sure they're properly prepared. And that's the way you're supposed to be. So like Habib, GSP, John Jones, those guys prepare themselves, everything. DC takes challenges, and at some situations, he's like the biggest risk taker there is.
Right.
Greatest pound for pound guys ever. But again, he's a risk taker. Habib, not a risk taker.
Chess player.
GSP, not a risk taker.
Right.
Okay, John Jones, not a risk taker. They're not. Anderson Silva, risk taker. He's a risk taker. He just goes and takes. They're not those three guys. No.
Yeah.
No. Habib loves the challenge, but he's always ready for a challenge. John Jones loves challenges, but he's not going to take a challenge unless he's prepared.
Right.
And GSP's the same way. Habib, he's more mental. Obviously, he proved that in his last fight. He went and fought with the broken toe. You filmed it,
I know. I was there when he broke his foot. And I had to be quiet for like 3.5 weeks and not tell anybody in the world.
No, you might get your foot broken.
My foot might have accidentally broke when I was walking down the street. I couldn't say a word about that one. But no, that was like, how's his foot? Is his foot better? Is he all good? He didn't even need a foot to win. He doesn't even need it to win. But hey, is it good?
Yeah, it's good.
So you feeling good training him again? I mean, it feels nice. It feels familiar. I know you get excited. It's business with you. It's routine, right? You don't go, oh yeah. You're just like, right?
No, I'm just coach, whatever. I'm excited about Umar's fight. His UFC debut on January 20th. Umar, I call him Little Beast. He is so humble, so quiet. He is got killer. I'm saying it, and I said it in all the other podcasts. I'll say it in our own. Look at him, 5-6 fights, wins his fights like I'm expecting for him to fight for a title. And don't be surprised if you have another Eagle, Little Beast champion, though, UFC champion.
He has no quit in him, but he is like the nicest guy that if you didn't know he was a fighter, you would not even guess that he was because his persona. He doesn't walk around all aggro or nothing.
And his brother Usman is the most gifted guy I've ever trained. And I did an interview actually this morning, and the guy goes, so you say Umar and Usman are going to be greater fighters than Habib? I go, no. I didn't say that. I said they're going to be champions and they're different, but not greater. I don't know if there ever be a greater one than him. I really don't. And that's the truth. And to me, Habib's the greatest fighter there ever has been in my eyes, so I'm not saying Usman is going to be the greatest ever. I'm just saying he's the most gifted. We still have to go past those stages, and I'm saying Umar is going to be a champion, but again, he still has to get to that point. Habib's there. He's been there, past that, destroyed that, so all this other stuff is just talk. He's actually done it, so there's no talk about him. He's done it. He's proved it, and there he is. So, no, to me, he's the greatest there's ever been, to me. Right. And I'm not talking, being biased. Yes, of course I'm being biased. He's my guy. Yes, no doubt.
But you know the business, Jav. You have a very keen eye. I mean, if you're just some coach, this guy's going to be the champion. You have guys that you're training that may do pretty good, but you're not like telling everybody, oh, this guy's a champ and this guy's a champ, giving that away on every fighter that you have. You're like pretty specific about that. And you don't put yourself behind it unless you see the potential for it. And look at the competition.
Another thing too, before we should mention is that poor Paul Vargas lost his life to COVID. He, God bless his soul.
He was like, I get to talk to him. I was just thinking about that. This has happened to me twice. One was with another UFC fighter, and years ago, I was talking to him before he disappeared in the desert, and then
Evan Tanner.
Evan Tanner, right? I was talking with him. He was going to actually come train at the gym that I had at the time. And I was trying to help him get some teaching jobs because he was in between things. But he decided to go do his motorcycle thing. But we had a good conversation. And then now I talked to Paul Varlins at the beginning of COVID. And when we both heard that he had it, I was like hoping for the best. But it's hard when you're that big of a guy. If it gets on you, man, it's tough. But he used to train with you. And in the podcast, it's on our channel. I will repost it in the section over there where we asked for
It's just sad. He was a happy-go-lucky guy all the time. He never was. He wasn't a bad guy. He never.
No, he's a sweetheart of a guy. He had a good heart. But he was just such a big guy. They're like, we need you to fight, and he kind of got pulled into that world in a different direction.
Because he was a huge guy. He was 300 something pounds, 367 pounds or something like that. In kind of decent shape. He wasn't that bad out of shape. 6'7" or 6'8" or 7. He was a big boy, and he was athletic. It wasn't like he wasn't athletic. He was athletic, but he was a big guy, you know. And back then in the UFC earlier days, it was how big you are, you know, not so much on the skill set level. Otherwise, you know,
not that many people back then were well-rounded. They were usually one art fighters, like a Kempo.
But that's what it was all about. That was all about. What's the best art? You know, Gracie proved they're the best art. They proved it.
No, it was the evolution. Somebody hanging out till they can grab a Gracie one day. Like I think that might have happened to. There was a Japanese fighter that was always, you know, known to be they called him the Gracie killer because his grappling was really good, and he used like catch wrestling. So, but the Gracies over time and in the beginning, and they beat everything. They put their name on it. They put their name behind it, and they won. And then jiu-jitsu grew up all over America. There was jiu-jitsu schools everywhere. When I was a kid, it was all taekwondo and karate, right?
You know? Yeah, in the UAE over here, they have, I don't know how many black belts here under their federation, the UAE, they under Palm Sports. They have, I want to say 700 something black belts here.
Wow.
I could be wrong, but I think they do. That in the UAE over here, it's like it's monstrous over here. The jiu-jitsu, that's why they have the
Abu Dhabi, the grappling match, ADCC.
Yeah,
that's like one of the biggest grappling competitions in the world. The best of the world come to that.
Yeah, he came here, I believe.
Go ahead.
Started Enzo Gracie, I believe. He's the pioneer that had met with I believe one of the prince or so, or one of the royalty. That
really loved grappling, and boom, they put it together, right?
Well, from what I was told, he was a student of Renzo's, and Renzo didn't know who he was. He just knew he was a student, a good guy, and when he came to Dubai, that's when Renzo realized he was royalty. You know, that's what I was told. That Renzo didn't realize.
He's like, I didn't know it was. Right.
Yeah, that's all this started. That's all this started over here through Renzo.
Well, the Royals have been giving a lot of wonderful help to further the sport, and you know, helping UFC have Yaz Island, having you guys training in Dubai. It's been a wonderful thing. They've really helped move forward the sport, especially during COVID. You know, I think that's been a great thing.
They're so good about testing people. Like if I go back to the US, guess what? I can go 2 or 3 months and not get tested. I'm over here. Sorry, don't work that way. I've been tested over 30 times here. You know, over 30 times. I've been here a little bit for like 4 months, but over 30 times. So that's what, every 3-4 days I get tested.
Yeah.
Just for the UFC here, in 4 days I got tested. 5 days I got tested 4 times.
Yeah, I was with you and I get tested at least 4 times. I was there for 10 days. That was quite a bit. At the airport, at the hotel, at the gym.
They test you. They don't mess around, you know, and then they do the border thing. You come to Dubai, you go, you get tested. They're right there. You got to have a clean test. It's got to be within 48 hours. You come into Dubai, same thing. You got to have a clean test. Otherwise, you ain't pass and go. Go home.
Right. I mean, they have the best logistics set up. It's admirable.
We don't have that. And it's probably because maybe traffic congestion. I don't know.
What we have, I'll tell you what we do have, because I went through it to come see you. You were already in Dubai, and I had to go through a county test. I went to a doctor for a test. I went to another place, and we guarantee you results in 24 hours. That was pretty pricey, like $400. And then I went to another county test, just so I had one of them land within the window to come fly and see you. But so the county give them out. The counties are giving them out. You can do that, but it's not tested like as much and as specific as I would say Dubai by any means. It's the difference of night and day. It's like having crooked highways and one good straight one that's fast that gets you where you want.
Well, also too, the other good thing is mostly all of Abu Dhabi is vaccinated now, almost all of it, and now it's trickling down to Dubai. Or Dubai starting their testing, so a lot of them are having their first shots, over there. So it'll be just a matter of time before everybody's good.
So how's the food at the hotel there? Any good on Yas Island?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, we're quarantined. We can't go nowhere. We're stuck. People go, oh, we're gonna come visit you. I go, no, I don't. Oh, can you visit me? I don't think so. I made a little post about I'm in jail. I mean, even though I'm out of my room, I'm still in jail. I have, I'm in a less, what do you call it? What do you call those blue collar guys and white collar guys?
Right.
You're serious kind of jail, and then you're still in jail. Well, I'm in that recreational type kind of jail where I can go outside. There's no gates, no nothing, but I'm still in jail.
Yeah, so you kind of can go out, walk around, get some sun, go by the pool.
But I can't walk out. There's a certain line, cannot go.
Okay. Well, that's what
trust me.
He wants to
got
bubble.
Got cameras everywhere. You ain't going nowhere. You go anywhere, they catch you. Cannot go.
Yeah, no sneaking out of your room, buddy. Well, that's okay. Sounds like you're ready. It must feel different. You missed the big gym that you had over in Dubai. Now you got to use the little room, but training is training, right? For Umar?
Well, we're at the final stages, so it doesn't matter,
Right.
For Usman, it matters because Usman he's going to fight for Bellator, and we need better training for him. For Umar, nah. Just make him wait is all he needs to do. He just needs to make weight,
So he's pretty much on point. Well, what we brought you guys today was the real inside scoop from the coach's mouth about what's going on with Habib, his interpretation. He's not, you guys can read into it what you want, like we said. I'm not saying anything that would make Habib mad because you're just saying what's going on. We don't have any other top secrets.
Yeah. Well,
but
Dana
this
said
top secret as you get, right? But you gave a little more illustration. He didn't talk about the training, so people learned something new here, right?
No, that's the thing. We didn't talk about the training. That's it. We're training, but there's no opponent. We're training. So Habib is realizing that, okay, there may be a spark there, but then remember, mother's plan. You got to talk to mother. He has to. There's no if and buts about that. He's not going to go against mother's wishes. If mom says no, let's say him and Dana come to an agreement. Then he goes talk to mom, and mom says, son, no. And then he goes, please, mom. Son, no. He's not going to break his mom's promise. He's not. He'll tell Dana, based on my mom's approval, I will fight. But right now, no one's interested. He hasn't talked about anybody. He hasn't specifically goes, I want this part. No, he hasn't. It's like he's just said Oliver has impressed him. He has said that. He looked very impressive.
Yeah. And Habib wants a real challenge. He doesn't just take the gimmies. He doesn't want to gimme.
And listen, if he's not going to fight, he'll let the belt go because he's not going to hold a division. That's not what he does. He's very thoughtful about that, so he will not let it go. Now, keep in mind, back of his mind, I talked to him. I said, hey, look, listen. I go, even though he doesn't talk to me, he goes, how do you know, coach? What do you know? I go, well, listen, you think I'm stupid? I go, number one, you go out and post USADA that you did testing again and you're clean, and la, la, la. I go, you think I'm dumb? I go, if you were really, really, really retired and that was really 100%, you would have never tested for USADA because you're retired. And then because if you retire from USADA, guess what happens? You try to come back in, it takes 6 months before you get back in. So it costs too much time. So in his mind, he's going, it's probably better that I do the USADA until it's really, really, really final because he knew Dana was going to come after him. And Dana has. And you know what? I've always said, you never know. Dana's very persuasive, and again, I've said it and I said it again. The whole sport world owes Dana a big, giant thank you, because what he did, and he I'm here, I'm alive. My gym's alive because of him. straight up.
Right.
Not my friend, you know, and I'm not claiming he's my friend, and he's not claiming to be my friend either. But I love him like a friend because of what he did for me, you know, straight up.
Well, you know him as an acquaintance through business. It's not that you guys hang out all the time and go sailing on his boat.
I never
right?
Asked me to hang out. He never calls me, Javier. Let's chat. No, every time I call him, it's like, hey, is it possible? Can I get some tickets? Is it possible? Is like, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, we don't chat like that. You know, and I'm not pretending that we're friends like that, but straight up, he responds to me right away. Right away.
Well, I think that you guys could be, but that's a busy man. You have a gym with 100 guys. He's got a gym with 10,000 guys, or 1,000, and then 10,000 below that are interested. So imagine the attention span, right?
I'm trying to be his friend. I'm just, you know, I'm just stating the fact. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I know, and I respect that. It's just the honest truth. Well, I think people learn something that they may not have never known before, and I think that's why people watch the podcast, to just hear it how it is from you. And hey, man, you get this fight coming up.
I have my son on this one, so we'll get him on the next one. So we have some interesting topics, and we go from there. Because Len and I, you know, some of this might be like, "What are you guys talking about, you idiots? Get back on track. Talk about what we want to hear."
Well, I think there is nuggets of what they want to hear that they're going to like if they go through the middle of the podcast and so forth. So I think there's good stuff in here. It wasn't as precise. Did you guys like the other format that Jeremy had us do the other day, the way that we were able to stay on track? Let us know. We just, you know, we can talk forever. The guys around our era, we grew up just talking, so it's normal. Javier, actually, it's an exception. For me, it's easy. Javier, you're doing great. Thanks for coming on, buddy.